Amen.
Amen. All right. All right. Welcome everybody. Miss Lethea, I can't find my agenda, so I'll have you. I'm recording, so we'll do it like I
Great.
said. So I'll have you direct us through the agenda.
Okay. Our welcome. Do you want to proceed with the welcome, or do you want me to do that?
I'll proceed with the welcome.
Thank you.
Give me the prompts, and I'll move. Okay, so I just want to say welcome to everybody. Thank you all for taking time out of your Sunday afternoon to be in the space, and also for your commitment to Project Safety Nets. As you know, there are people on this call from all over. We have Minnesota, we have College Dorm in Georgia, we have New York, we have Connecticut, we have Atlanta, and I'm going to let people go around and introduce themselves, because this is our first time meeting as a board, right? We've met together as a joint board with the advisory board before, but this is our first time meeting as a board. So welcome and thank you. And what I'm going to do is let you go around and introduce yourself and tell what your position is and where you're calling from or where you're operating from. All right. So let's start with Elon.
Okay. Hello, my name is Elom Ajadi, and I am the youth representative of Project Safety Nets. I am operating from Athens, Georgia. I attend the University of Georgia, and I am a first-year environmental health science major.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, Miss Natalie. Can't hear you. Hold on. You need me to let me unmute you, see if that works.
Oh, all right, because somebody got some background noise, so that's why I muted it. I thought it was me, but anyway, Natalie Johnson Lee from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know what more wrote.
Miss,
what am I supposed to be doing? Because girl, I mean, I just do whatever you tell me.
Miss Lethea, Miss Natalie, you are the board trainer and
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you on all these boards. You gotta keep it straight. Project Safety Nets.
No, I just got back from driving from Wisconsin, so I'm trying to get it together here. Yeah.
Okay, so we need you to be more than a major funder. We need you to.
I got you. I'm with you. I'm here. I got you.
Awesome. Glad you're here. Thank you. Okay. Raymond.
Raymond Rose. I'm the treasurer, and I'm from New York.
Awesome. All right. Laverne.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Laverne Campbell, and I am from Connecticut. I'm like my sister. I can't even remember my official title, but I've been with Ann since the beginning. I know she's shaking her head. I'm so sorry. I was trying to look it up before it came on. But I'm excited to be.
So the board trainer won't even be able to whip you into shape. Laverne is the assistant chair.
Oh yes, I'm assistant chair. I will not forget that. But again, calling from Connecticut and excited to be here. Looking forward to our future endeavors. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, Miss Susan, welcome.
Woo, finally. I'm obviously not your technical support.
Well, you know, I just take people as they are.
Thank you, because we're struggling over here.
Awesome. So you're introducing yourself and saying where you're calling from, where you're operating from, and what is your role?
Okay, I am Susan Smith, and I am calling in from Newton Avenue, my Newton Avenue office, as opposed to my Atlanta, Georgia office, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My role is I am the administrator, and I basically just do what Ann tells me to do. I serve as a sounding board. No, really, a sounding board for Ann and setting up the boards. We work together. Yeah, and we're working on defining my role.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome. All right, Miss Dr. Lethea.
Hi, I am Lethea. I am calling in from Georgia, and I am the board secretary.
All right, all right. All my Georgia people know their role.
Wait a minute now.
Oh my goodness, no, I'm just having fun. But thank you all so much, and I appreciate it. And it's you know, part of it is what we're going to talk about is defining those roles and knowing what do you do. What do you do in those roles? I mean, secretary is kind of clear, treasurer is kind of clear, but you know, we're just defining it as we go. So I appreciate all. The flexibility is an important part of being on this board. So yes. All right. Help me out, Miss Lethea.
Review and return the applications, the bios, conflict of interest documents.
Okay. All right. Do you want to take that part?
Okay. There are still some outstanding applications, bios, headshots, and a few conflict of interest forms that needs to be returned to the Project Safety Net Google email address. So we need those so that we can keep those on file. It's very important. If you have not returned those, we are asking that you do so by the end of this week. So I'm going to give you until next Sunday. So that would be the 22nd of September. So please, it's very important that you return those documents to the Project Safety Net Google email address.
Okay, so do we have, does everybody know if they've returned those items, or do you need a follow-up to say what's missing for you?
Could we please get a follow-up?
Okay.
Will do.
Okay.
I believe I'm all set.
Okay. All right. All right. You know what? I think, Miss Natalie, that's coming from mine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move locations. I'm going to step out. It's connected to my power. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Mute excuse me. It's I think it's the TV. That's all right. It's the TV. I think it's giving noise in the background. It's just the TV. Yeah. Okay, you good? All right. Thank you all. Okay, we got it, Miss Natalie. We got it. Thank you for letting me know that was loud for you. All right, Miss Lethea.
Now we move on to between meeting actions.
Okay.
Namely the Global Impact Scholarship.
All right, so between meetings, sometimes we have to take, there's a need to take action, and part of our bylaws allow us to do things via telecommunication, and between our last meeting and this meeting, we established the Global Impact Scholarship by vote, and congratulations to our recipient, Elom.
Yeah,
Yay!
Way to go, way to go. And I believe that the organization has to keep growing, and we have to keep flourishing. And this is the latest initiative that we've added to it. And I just believe that it'll grow more and more. Part of what we have to do as a board is to determine what are the qualifications for future recipients, right? It was easy to designate this scholarship for alum this year, but as we go into the next school year, similar to Rotary, we need to put a set
Criteria.
yeah, we need to define it and put set criteria and expectation for what does it look like, who is eligible to apply, when is applications due, and how do we decide, who is the next young person who will receive that scholarship. So I'm wondering if there's anybody on the board who would like to take that on to help define that and then bring it back for a vote or forward it. I mean, we'll work back and forth, and then when it becomes fine, we have a good draft, forward it to the board to accept. So let me know if anybody is interested in helping to define that.
I will.
Okay.
Oh, right now.
Okay. What you say?
I'd be interested in helping if anyone doesn't mind.
Okay, so Elom and Miss Natalie will be defining the Global Impact Scholarship. Awesome. And you know what? It's already, pretty much already set up because we just got to download it from Rotary. And add our project safety nets.
I believe we have those forms and an application.
Oh. So we have, why reinvent the wheel? It's right there, and that's why I selected a creative group of people who are engaged and know how to pull their resources together. So thank you all for that. All right.
Right.
So, do we have any other between sessions?
Partnerships and funding opportunities?
Okay. So as a board of directors, part of what is important also is that we look at, keep an eye out for partnership and funding opportunities. So on the advisory board, Dr. Paula and Lisa, they're going to be our partnership ambassadors. So I'm meeting with them this week to define what that looks like, because being a new board, I just have ideas of what we've done before. And I just, along this first year, it's going to be putting these things together and having those formalizing stuff. So we're going to be meeting this week to formalize what does partnership look like, and how do we, if somebody decides that they want to be a partner with Project Safety Nets, what does that look like? Right? So if any of you are interested in meeting with us to help define that, let me know, and I'll send you the meeting date and time. But I think that, for example, there's a church in Maryland who called and want to be a partner with us. So then should we have a partnership letter, a packet? And I think Susan and I had talked about this a little bit. Should we have a packet put together with Project Safety Net's paraphernalia? And if they want to partner, let's say, with hygiene kits and glasses, what pictures do we have in a photo bank to send them so they have access to, because they need to tell the story. to their congregation to inspire people to give more. So just looking at formalizing that piece. The other part of that is Dr. Alicia had found a grant opportunity with Coca-Cola. And can you tell us just a little bit more about that opportunity?
Coke does not give money to other than 501c. So if you're doing it for a for-profit organization, they won't give it to you. But if you're a 501c, they will. And the terms that they've outlined in the Coca-Cola Foundation website, it's similar to the Project Safety Net landscape, in that it's all about empowering communities. And it's very similar to what Project Safety Net is about. So once I read what they're about, it brought me right back to Project Safety Net, and it put me in mind that we could probably be a great partner for them, because they also do it globally. It's not just within Georgia or within the United States. They do global partnerships, and they're literally looking for people to give money to, because they want to give 1% of their profits to 501cs or nonprofit organizations. And they only accept applications online. So it's really convenient. And I would encourage everyone to go out there and take a look at the Coca-Cola Foundation, because it's just my take, my interpretation on what I've read, but it would be great to get other eyes to see if what I've interpreted, if it falls in line with Project Safety Net. So if everybody else, or maybe just a few of you, could go out there and read it just to see if what I've read is really true. But I think they'd be a great partner for us.
What is the name of the grant?
I'll try to look at it.
It doesn't have a name. It's just the foundation itself.
The foundation.
Okay. Yeah, Coca-Cola Foundation.
Okay.
See, I love this team, because I was gonna say, Miss Susan, can you look into that? Because that, you
look, I'm trying to type into it. I'm trying to
and I love my team, because she is on it already. And that's one of the things that she does really well, is she gets down to the details and help to formulate that stuff, and I appreciate that. So I mean, the fact that we're meeting as a board and we're forming, Raymond is helping me to formulate the financial integrity and transparency of the organization. That will make us so much more attractive, because we have the credibility and we have the longevity and we have the results to show. So I'm just super excited that board members are out there and looking and saying, hey, we can connect with this, and it'll be good to connect with this. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Does anybody else know offhand any other auxiliaries, organizations that you think we need to collaborate with or even reach out to?
What about the Rotary?
Definitely Rotary. And I'm glad you brought that up, because after we build a skill center, I want to definitely write a Rotary grant to furnish it, because we can't write a grant for the building. But in the meantime, there are other projects we're doing that's really in the scope of what Rotary supports.
Right.
So the hygiene kits, maternal health, even the sanitation projects, those are different things that we can reach out and get support for.
Yeah.
And we know some Rotary presidents.
Past, present.
Past and present. And past. So, so we can get our word in, I love it. Okay. Any questions around this line item on the agenda?
You're meeting today to work with what team again? I'm sorry.
I think we're scheduling it for Tuesday night, Ms. Susan. I think we're looking at 7:45 Atlanta time, which would be 6:45 Minneapolis time. So we're looking at Tuesday night to kind of flesh out, what does this look like? What should our
What's the name of the team?
It's going to be the Partnership Ambassadors.
Partnership Ambassadors. Okay.
Yes.
If I can, I'd like to just dial in if I could.
Okay.
And thinking about being positioned for grants.
Yes.
Wonder if there's like a packet we could come up with, so whenever these opportunities come, we can get on them. If there's some type of standard that you have to have available whenever you apply, like your your financial reports and things like that. I'll see what the Koch Foundation needs, and maybe we can start working on that. So if other opportunities come up, we can respond very quickly.
Okay, I think that's, yes, that's really, really good. And I think, we will end up forming a grant committee.
Oh, okay.
But for now, until that's in place, I think that's a really great place to go.
So one of the things you guys can do is go on the Council of Minnesota nonprofit and pull up the common grant. And then if you follow that, that should be a good outline of what
we should have. Okay.
Yep. And that way you ain't got to redo all this stuff again. They got it all laid out. And then they have it's just a common grant.
Common grant. Yep. So it's really the bare necessity that you need.
Yeah. And then if you have all of that, generally what you have to do with the other grants is you just add,
add what they need. Okay.
You can use that as a template to make sure you have just the basics in line.
All right.
What did you call that again?
Can you repeat that for me?
It's called the Common Grant. And I don't know if they have it other places, but in Minnesota, we have a council of nonprofits, and they have a template that's called the Common Grant. And it has the basics that you need for many of the grants in Minnesota. But if you have all those things in place, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to, when you go to write a grant, you already have everything you need already, together. And you can just send it in or put it in whoever's template that they need to put it in.
Okay. I'm on this site.
Was that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible for me to be involved in this? I want to learn how you guys are doing, like writing grants and stuff.
Okay. All right. Raymond, can you work with that subcommittee with the grants to kind of put something formal in place?
Sure.
Okay. So we have Elorm, Susan, and Raymond gonna take a look at that grant piece. Okay.
Who should I send the link to?
Send it to Susan.
Okay.
I got it.
Sure, I got it.
Or she already got it.
I knew I had it up.
Susan, you can make sure Elorm and Raymond gets it.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm going to look at the site because there's a lot of stuff out here.
Right.
Do you have a link directly to that form?
All you got to do, just type in Minnesota Common Grant.
Common Grant? Okay, got it.
And it'll come up.
All right.
Could you also send it to me? Or, I'll look it up. That's fine. I think it'll be.
That's Laverne. You know what? Let me say this. Susan, why don't you just drop it in our board of directors?
I'll put it in the board of directors group. Yep.
And then everybody can get it, right? And whoever wants to see it can get it from the board of directors group. Everybody connected in the the PSN board of directors group?
I don't know.
maybe I should just rephrase it. Laverne, are you connected in the?
I will buy the.
We will all be connected in.
Okay. I don't want to call my friends out. That's not nice. Okay. Thank you. All right. So Miss Lethea, did we cover that area?
The next is the donation log.
Donation log. Okay, you all. So I was talking to Raymond, and he was saying that we need to be, have transparency around not just the financial donation, but also the the items that we receive.
In kind.
In kind, that's right. Thank you. Around the in-kind donations. And so I developed a log, and I think we should also put this in the board, the link to this in the board group, so that everybody can use it. So I'm gonna pull up the log, and I'm gonna let Raymond tell you about it. Okay, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit share my screen, pull up the log. All right, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, all right, Ray. Can you hear me, Raymond?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you see the log?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you explain about this and why the importance of having this?
Well, I think the idea behind this is, over the years, the organization has gotten a lot of supplies, or you guys may categorize it, in other ways, but I think there's a lot of power in data. So when you put a monetary amount to a lot of the the gifts or the supplies or what have you that the organization is collect, then it's easier to tell the story. One way of evaluating a lot of the stuff, some of it might be used, is just using like the thrift shop calculation, where you wouldn't go with the retail price, but it's somewhere in between there. But again, just looking at it overall, I think we've done a lot, but it's easier to tell the story once you have it in black and white. And that's really the premise behind this, is just to say, hey, at any point we could pull up a log and say, wow, this is how much the organization has contributed, from a dollar amount or from a quantity amount, because we do a lot. It's just easier to have it visually, so that everyone can see it.
So thank you for that. And so with that in mind, I was able to develop this form, and we'll all have access to it, and people could go on the date of the donation, who's making the donation. I like it sorted by last name and their email address, because we want to send, Miss Lethea usually sends a thank you with the tax receipt. And we have to decide if that's her role still or if that's Raymond's role. But I know Lethea had been working with me before we got everything established. And who's the giving source? So who's this person connected? Are they connected to me? Are they connected to Nat? Are they connected to Elam? Who are they connected to? And what items? So as you can see here, Monica Davis gave me 100 children's socks, very high quality children's socks. I valued them at $3 a pair, and then I put them in here. And so one of the things that needs to go to her is the Project Safety item letter, and so when we get a report from Raymond, once he starts doing the report, then it'll show that in the month of whenever that date is, Project Safety Net secured this amount of items or this amount of cash. Any questions about that?
Yes. Is the IRS, does the IRS have a different rate than the thrift store? Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. What the IRS did instruct me on is that when we give people, we're just doing the estimated shelf value for ourselves, but
Okay.
when we give them a letter, we cannot attach a value to it. That's between them and their own tax.
Gotcha.
So I give them a blank letter, and what that letter, with that letter, then they can use that with their tax form. So it's just a blank item donation letter.
Okay.
Okay, we lost somebody. I'm not sure who we lost. Okay, Ms. Natalie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, you can take it down. That's what I was going to ask. The other thing, here, I'll take it down. Oh, the other question that I have, oh, it may be on the agenda. So let me wait till we finish the agenda and then I'll ask it.
Okay. I'm so glad you're here and feeling good.
Me too, girl, because last time it was nothing nice. Oh Lord, don't even remind me. I'll start having flashbacks and I'll be on the floor again.
Okay. All right. Can you all see? I don't know if this is on the screen. I wanted to. You see the letter?
No, the letter's on the screen.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna show it. Okay. Just because I want you all to know what I've done in the past and what it looks like. Okay. Can you see a letter, the donation letter now?
Yes.
Okay, so typically this is what I send when people like give us items. It's like a letter that you would get from Goodwill or one of those other stores when you make donations, and they get to evaluate how much it is, and they put their value on it, and so people get this typically when they do a donation. Okay, are you able, you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that? So I'll and we'll make sure that everybody has access to that item donation form, and we'll put it in the Project Safety Net's boards group as well.
Oh, just one question.
Yes.
If someone makes a monetary donation,
Yes.
Do they also get that, or
no? They that's a really good question. So I'm going to, let me go in here and I'm going to find the form that they get, okay? But that's a good question. We send them a donation letter. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay. I love Zoom. Don't you all love Zoom? I love Zoom.
I love Zoom. I'm trying to get more people to use it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so look at this. This is the letter that Ms. Lethea had been sending people out. So it's the donation, the people who donated, and just give them a little warm greeting. It's signed by me, our Project Safety Net's information, and then the date of their donation and the amount that they donated, and at the bottom, just the IRS information.
is that something that could be incorporated on the website? I know we got the donate button, so is that something that if someone makes a donation, an email could automatically be generated to that person with that letter?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we know how to, if we have a tech savvy person who can have this go out, the language is already there. All right. So that's a really good idea, Raymond. All right. Anything else? Ray, did you want to look at that?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll send you the letter.
Okay.
And you can, see how, if you can make that work.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Miss Lethea?
Next step, review roles and responsibilities.
All right. Who is clear on their role?
I am.
Okay. All right. Who else is clear? Miss Natalie is like, okay. And Elorm, I know we talked about yours. Laverne, you are so clear on your role, right? And Susan? Raymond, are you clear?
Actually, I am clear. I mean, my role is evolving, and I understand that. So
yeah. Raymond, how do you feel about your role? Are you clear, or you need more clarity?
I'm clear. I just feel like, just treasurer. I think I'm not limited to just that. So if I could be of assistance in any other way, feel free to reach out to me.
Okay. And so that covers the clause that says, and any other duties assigned. Thank you. And seriously though, when I considered putting this board together, it was important that I had people who were flexible and really had the heart of project safety nets, or know the pulse of project safety nets, because we're formative. We're evolving, and so sometimes it might need some overlap. So let's start with Miss Natalie. When I don't think every board has a trainer and a developer, but one of the things with, if you've worked with me, which you all have worked with me, one of the things that's really important to me is that as people give to the organization, it's important for me to know that the organization is also given to you, and you're able to use utilize the organization in a way that furthers you, whether it's professionally or personally, that you are getting something out of it. Altruism is cool, but I want you to be able to get something from it. And so that's why it was important to me to get the number one coach in America, along with the number one business developer, whatever, snatch your edges kind of person, to make sure that as we grow as an organization, you grow as an individual, right? As we grow, you grow. So Miss Natalie's role is really to find out what your needs are as an individual, but also what the needs of the board is. What do we need as board members, as a board as a whole, to move us, to make us an exceptional board? Because everybody on this call, everybody on this board, excellence is our motto. And so we want to operate in excellence, even though you are my dear friends. I got my SBSS, my best friends, my brother, you all are all dear to me, but also in a professional sense, how do we conduct ourselves? So that part is Miss Natalie. And one of the questions I asked on the application is, what are your personal goals? What do you want? And so I imagine that Ms. Natalie will look at that and really check in with you to see, are you making your strides? Are you getting what you need? And she's good at that, because keep me in check too. Right? So that's Miss Natalie. Are you clear, Miss Natalie? I can't hear you. Let me unmute you.
Yes, I'm clear.
Okay.
I got it now.
All right. Anybody have questions for Miss Natalie? Besides, what's your number?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not in need of this, but since we were talking about grants, could we have a grant writing session for the board?
That's a good one.
That's really good. And yes, let's I'll talk with Miss Natalie and see if we can get somebody on and who's good at writing grants and lead us in that. That's excellent.
Mm-hmm. Excellent idea.
Excellent. And I know we have people in our network who
write grants
tap into for that resource.
Right off the bat, I think of Dr. Tina, because she's gotten some major money grants, and she would love to do that. So I'll that's one of the persons I can check in. There's a couple of people, but right off the bat.
Because I think as a board, and we're gonna be begging money, I think we should all fine tune that skill. You know, just in case one person is available, we can all step in and help the ambassadors do something.
Yeah, and personally, we are all ambassadors, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about, Miss Natalie, right off the bat, I'm thinking that maybe you can lead us in a session on how to talk about project safety nets. How do we develop, I think we talked about this in our advisory meeting, how do we develop our elevator speech? How do we know who to say what to? Because if you try to describe the whole project safety nets, it's overwhelming. It's like, who, child? You know, so who do we say what to, and how do we speak the same language around project safety nets? So that's one thing that I think of right off the bat, Ms. Natalie, teaching us, helping us develop that and teaching us how to present project safety nets.
All right, got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Elon.
Yes.
Okay, so you are the youth representative. I think Laverne had some ideas around she's looking at me like, what the heck? What are you talking about? We had talked about you being a youth, a key person to help connect us also with the young people in Senegal, because we're going to form an advisory council of young girls in Senegal as well. And so having that continuity, I'm not sure how it's going to look yet, but Laverne also talked about developing the young women leaders that we're going to select in Senegal, and even setting it up to the place where we help them with financial development, to the point where we might even have something to offer them, a microloan to develop their own business and sustainable living, right? So we talked about that. So I see you as helping to navigate that, but I see you also here doing stuff and being the face of the young people who work with Project Safety Nets. I don't know exactly how, and so other people on the board might have some ideas. So if you all have some ideas, again, I know this is an important component, but I don't have the full vision of what it looks like. So I'm going to open it up to other people who might have thoughts about what does the youth representative role look like?
Actually, I was thinking earlier when you guys were talking that one thing we kind of already have established is the connection to Beechview Ridge High School. So right now, I'm very close with the people who are seniors right now and a couple of juniors. So I was going to actually schedule a meeting with the officers and talk to them about continuing to have like things like the clothing drive associated with Project Safety Nets, or maybe just expanding it to other things that we have, like maybe the mosquito bed nets or just fundraising and stuff like that. So it's like we're keeping Project Safety Net's spirit and community in schools and in the youth, and maybe expand it to the middle school and elementary school, but that's just like further down. So that's just one thing I had in mind.
Awesome. Excellent. I also see you doing a video on our website. We can have a link that says youth, Project Safety Net Youth, and I also see you doing a video to talk to young people where we can, when we talk to young people who are interested in Project Safety Net, they can click on it and hear from you.
Okay.
Any other thoughts about the role of youth, of our youth liaison?
Well, you know, I have some ideas, but I would, but I would want to, seriously, I would really want to talk to, I want to pronounce your name right. Is it Alarm?
It's Elom.
Elom. Okay.
Yes, Elom.
So, I would want to I would like to talk to her personally to kind of get some feedback, because one of the things I don't know what her schedule is, but I would always make sure that she doesn't take on too much, and that what we have her do is doable within the confines of her studies.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Okay. But I could run with that one. So I'm a.
So Elam, you and Miss Natalie are gonna connect.
Yep. Yes. Give me my information later.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Miss Laverne.
Yes.
About you. Okay, so what do you see your role as vice chair?
Vice chair. Well, I think since the beginning, I've always just been alongside of you, assisting and helping and, bouncing off ideas and helping to navigate. And so definitely continuing in that role. And then, just stepping in when you're not there, but definitely trying to find a project or an area that I can take off of your plate so that, we can help expand Project Safety Nets. So I haven't quite figured out what that thing is, or, that I am engaged with those that have leprosy. And so still trying to figure out how to expand that role. And, again, you talk about sustainability even within that community. So still trying to figure that out.
Right. And I appreciate that. And I think, and I don't know what it is yet, but as I look at what I'm doing, I think making a shift to pass something on to you that is, you're working on, this is your area. I think that would be really good as well. I don't know what that is yet.
Right. Yes. It'll work itself out.
It usually does. And I'm sure Ms. Nally has some ideas too. That's why she has the role that she has. Okay. And so Ms. Lethea, I think some clarification that we need to make also is making sure that I'm clarifying your role versus Miss Susan's role. And even though some of it might overlap at some point, I think it's clear that your role is the board of directors, not necessarily the advisory board, and the maintaining of the formal records and things like that. But I think there are times when some of it might overlap and we might have to collaborate together. Yeah. Susan?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think said it earlier. There's just the overall operation and health of the organization, because you know we have the big project that we're working on is building the skill center in Senegal, and so one of the things I would like to do is bring in somebody who can help us with a capital campaign. And I know that's further down on the list, but I see you as, you know, kind of helping to not run the capital campaign, but help us with the organization.
The logistics and organization, that will make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
As and duties as assigned.
That's my friend.
That's okay, just flexibility, but I don't want to interfere with anybody else's, you know what I mean, role.
Right, and I think one of the things about this team that we've put together is, again, the flexibility. And as we develop as a board, we'll build that line of communication where we can feel free to reach out and say, hey, are you working on this? I just want to make sure, or, you know, could we work on this together? I think you all know me well enough to know that Project Safety Nets, as dear as it is to me, I also wear it in a way that people can find themselves within Project Safety Nets and work towards, they can take ownership. You all can take ownership of Project Safety Nets. And so that I want to, if you don't feel that, I want to be able to express that more. Okay. And Raymond, your role, I think, is pretty clear. I think one of the things that I would like you to help me with is to check on our IRS documents and things like that, because you know how I moved from my old address, and I'm not sure what I need to do to probably change the address of. And I don't know if there's any yearly forms that I need to be filling out, because I haven't filled any of those out. So helping me to navigate that space, I think that's something that would be helpful.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. All right. So we've gone through roles and responsibility. Any questions about this for me? There is one more role, and that's Bolo. Bolo, she's not on the call. She is our cultural liaison. Bolo was born and raised in Senegal, and I think it's important, as we serve mostly in Senegal, that we have someone with the cultural competency. Because as much as I've been there, I'll never be Senegalese, as much as I feel it in my bones. When people, you know, I'll never be as competent in the culture as a native. And so Bola has been a part of Project Safety Nets for years, and has helped with so many different things. And I see her as a liaison, somebody who can advise us on different cultural things, or even make suggestions and different things like that, in her role as cultural liaison. Okay. And we have an unofficial board member who's Misa, and Misa is in Senegal, and one day you all will meet Misa, but he's in Senegal running the business of Project Safety Nets in Senegal, and we talk regularly, at least once a week. We're in touch, and as the board directs me, I direct him to move within that space. Okay. All right.
And what's his position?
He is the operations director in Senegal.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next item, supplemental reports.
Okay. So I don't know if anybody has any report to give. So let me start off by saying that when I spoke to Misa, one of the things he had shared with me is that City Radio School, you know, they were struggling with uniforms and they wanted to know if we can support them in getting uniforms. And I used my birthday as a fundraiser. And thank you all for donating to that. We raised $1,022, which on Facebook for my birthday, and that will automatically be deposited to their account. What I would like is permission from the board to send that money once it's released. I think it takes 6 months to Senegal to help get them started making the uniforms. It'll be great if we had a match, but if we don't, that's what we can do, and that'll get us about 200 uniforms, right? They're about $5 a uniform. So like I said, it would be great if we had a match, but for now we can get 200. There's 680 students in the school. I think 200 would be, you know, it'll take us a long way. So what I would like is permission from the board to do that once the money is released. The other thing that I heard, they contacted me to say that there's some mosquito bed nets available from the medical center there. And typically I buy mosquito bed nets before the trip. And the last few years, it's been hard to find. So Misa has had to travel to different places trying to find mosquito bed nets. But Madame Dagana, who is the director of the medical center, she reached out to say, hey, we have a supply of mosquito bed nets. Let me know if you want to secure some for the next distribution. So I'm proposing to the board that even though we haven't done the mosquito bed net drive yet, that we secure at least 300 or 400 mosquito bed nets for our next trip, because it's right there in the village, easily accessible, and Misa will store it till we get there for distribution. Okay. So those are my supplementary report, and I maybe need to ask it in a way of.
You need a motion?
In a motion.
Yes.
Right? So, okay, let me say I am motioning.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. I motion that we purchase 400 mosquito bed nets. And I think that will be $800 US. A motion that we purchase 400 mosquito bed nets in anticipation for our next trip.
I will second that motion.
Okay. All right. So, Secretary, are you the one that called all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 What is that feedback?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't know what that
Aye.
noise.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right. Okay. So it has been motioned and second that we purchase 400 mosquito bed nets in lieu of our next missions trip because of availability. So it's been motioned and passed. Thank you all for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, each board meeting that we have, I want people to come to the board meeting with a report of what has happened within your scope during those 2 months that we didn't meet. So giving us an update. So each board meeting, Raymond will have a fiduciary or a financial report. Ms. Nally will tell us about what happened with training and developing, and everybody will give us an update. Ms. Lethia's update will be the reading of the past minutes, and we vote on it and pass those minutes as been read. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I have one more report. We did meet with the advisory board. Elam was on that meeting with the advisory board, and I posted the link in the board of directors Facebook group. And we talked about the pen pal letters program. So Tina and Nancy, they are French teachers and retired French teachers from Minneapolis public schools, and they are going to be working on defining the pen pal program. They're looking at, once it's defined, we're going to have a link on the website where other teachers who might want to be engaged, they'll have access to a sample lesson plan. They'll have access to what the pen pal letters look like, how to write, how to get the kids engaged and things like that. So they're working on developing a whole program around the pen pal letters.
Awesome. Nice.
Yes. So they're on the advisory council, and that's something that we're working on.
What are their names again?
Tina Maynor and Nancy Ledesma.
Okay, I know who.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, got it. Thank you.
So our advisory council, they're working. Right. Okay.
Let's see here. Sorry. So our next board of director meetings, the next one will be December 15th, then followed by March 15th, 2020, June 21st, September 20th, and December 20th. The next step item is to appoint a board member, which we already did, to work with our stateside partnership ambassador.
Yes.
So I think we covered that earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
I would participate with the ambassadors as well.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
I have to remind you, Laverne, that there's going to be a meeting Tuesday night.
Yes.
At 7:45.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And that's it on our agenda. If there are any questions, now is the time.
I have a question, but I think we'll put it on the agenda for next time. But one of the things that's important, especially when we start getting more funding. Oh, wait, my picture ain't up. Hold on.
Oh,
When we start looking at funding, is boards like to see the foundation can see the board contribution. So I think we should see if there's a minimum that you want everybody to contribute. Then that way, because then you can say that you have 100 board participation in your giving. That always looks good on the and that's just something to think about.
Yes, yes, Miss Natalie, that's a very good point. Thanks for bringing that up. And Susan and I think we decided that we that minimum contribution is $100.
That's correct.
Yes.
I remember.
Okay. And so
it's on the application or the expectations, or it's on one of those documents.
Correct. So that we can say, and please don't feel limited to just give $100.
Love it.
Yes. Because look, if I have $1,000 donor in this room and you go down to $100, that's not all right. So I'm just putting that disclaimer out there for my big donors in this room. But we want to make sure that So we make it a requirement, but not put a stipulation, but something manageable so that we, like Miss Natalie said, we can report that we have fully 100% financial support.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And I'll ask the advisory board for the same thing too, because I think you you put your finances where you support the vision. Okay.
I do remember the contribution amount, but I don't remember, is there a time, a specific time for the contributions?
No, it's just within that year. And so one of the things that a lot of times what makes sense to me is that it's made before our trip. So that makes sense so that we can do more projects and things like that.
By March 2020, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
That's by March of 2020.
By March of 2020, that's correct. Our next trip is March 13th through the 27th, 2020.
Oh, so we should just donate it before the end of the tax year then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think by December 31st.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for those that are able. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're able to, right.
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 You need to wait for your tax return. Okay.
What tax?
And Elorm, we understand that you are a student, so I will help you on that, so that you can also be a fully donating board member.
I will be contributing as well.
Okay.
Love that. Look at this.
Y'all look.
It's self-sufficiency, that's it. Self-sufficiency.
Awesome. So another thing that's going on, and I don't think this is on the agenda, I think next steps, I'm also planning a trip for African American males, and that's going to be in October 26th through November 6th, 2020. And that's an all African American male trip to Senegal. It's called the Homecoming.
Beautiful.
So I'll keep you all posted on that. I have my first information session. If you know anyone who you think might be interested, I'm going to be very picky about who gets to participate in that. Let me know. I'll be happy to send them the link. All right. Any questions, thoughts, ideas?
This is Laverne. So I know you've given us a list of different items and things that we should start collecting or suggestions for the trip. But if you come to the point where you are lacking anything, please just let us know so that we can kind of concentrate on those things that you're, desperately in need of, so we can pack those in a barrel. Because I think most of us are looking at sending barrels in December.
Yes.
If we can pack the barrels with those really needed items,
right,
I'm aware of, just let us know. That'd be great.
Right. That's good stuff. Yes. Just so you know, I'm going to participate in the Bahamas Relief. So in a little while, you'll see stuff come out that's saying that Project Safety Nets is going to participate in the Bahamas Relief. I'm putting together shoe boxes. We're calling them Boxes of Hope, with toiletry items. And so I'll run like a 1-month campaign for this to help send relief to our brothers and sisters in Freeport, Bahamas. So I'll send you all that information. I'll post it in the group so that the board has insight on this before I circulate that.
So who are you connecting with? Is it like your local church that's shipping, or how is that?
Yeah, I'm working with a pastor out of Indianapolis who does a lot of work in the Bahamas. And so items are being sent to a church in Fort Lauderdale, and then they're shipping it over.
Okay.
Yeah. So within the next couple of days, I'm going to post that, but I'm running a campaign at my church as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that won't take away from the Senegal stuff. I'm doing this for the next month, getting that out of the way, but I do want to lend our support as a global organization. Okay. Awesome. All right. And okay, just going around as we're at the end of our meeting, and I just want you to, close with a remark. So let's see where you are, how you're feeling, what you're looking forward to. I want you to be able to close with a remark. All right. So let's start with Miss Susan.
I knew I would be the first one because I was the last one on. No, I'm very encouraged and inspired and excited to be a part of Project Safety Nets in a way other than donating or how we participated in the past.
Yes.
So I'm very encouraged, and I'm really inspired by our youth, our young woman that's participating. That's
awesome. All right, Laverne.
I think the word that comes to mind for me is exploring.
You're breaking up, Laverne. I can't hear you.
I think the word comes to me, explore. I've been a part of Project Safety Net for, the institute. And so looking forward to what the new direction is for me, and, what the doors that are opening with our new collaboration and our new committee. So it's going to be exciting with this whole team. And
okay, I didn't get all of it, but I think the essence of you're excited about what's new that's coming up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Elom?
I feel like I have a clear sense of what I have coming up next for Project Safety Nets. So right now, I actually have a checklist of what I'm going to be doing. So in terms of just connecting with Miss Natalie, connecting with my schoolmates, my old schoolmates, trying to figure out how it fits all into my new schedule, and just trying to gain some consistency so that I can get some proper results for Project Safety Nets is what I have in mind next. But yeah.
All right. Yes, snaps. Thank you. Ray?
Yeah, so I got a couple of takeaways. Follow up on the documents that need to be filed for the organization, and making sure that the financials are ready for the next meeting. But all in all, it's very positive. Looking forward to the next meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. Miss Natalie?
I see this as promise fulfilled.
That's right.
That's what I see it as. Promises fulfilled, and we got a lot of those. So this is just another check on the box. So that's what it just seems to me is, God's promises fulfilled.
Amen. Thank you for that. Dr. Lethea?
I'm grateful to be on the forefront of something so exciting. I'm usually in the background working, and to be here in the foreground, it's new, it's exciting, and I'm just happy to be a part of something that's so global and far-reaching, and that'll be touching lives every day.
Amen. Thank you. So I'm going to ask Raymond and Laverne, can you put your pictures up just so that I can do a screenshot? Susan, Miss Natalie, you don't need no lipstick.
I was getting ready, look.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I keep it close by.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, excellent. Thank you all for a great meeting. One of the things, let me wrap this up by saying one of the things that Ms. Letha and I talked about is we are transcribing. We're using a transcription service to transcribe the project safety nets meeting because I want her to be as engaged and get as much out of this meeting as possible, not just trying to get every note and every detail. So we're using a transcription service, and this recording goes to the transcription service. It sends us back raw data of our conversation, and she'll just go through the edits, and that means that allows her to be present in the meeting. So I'm actually really grateful that you're able to participate. Yes. All right, everybody. So people should be meeting with Miss Natalie and getting we're getting it together, and in December we'll have a report on where you are, what you're doing, how we're moving forward. Can't hear you, Miss Susan. I know you're saying something.
No, documents will be available in the drive within an hour.
Yes, documents will be available in the drive in an hour. All right. If you need anything, hey, let me know. And
I already reached out to you,
Ann. And please utilize the Facebook group. Utilize the Facebook group so that we're keeping it going. I think I invited everybody to that, so utilize that. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your love and your support for Project Safety. And let's change the world. Yes. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Awesome.